Before we dive into our show, here's a message for one of our partners.
Welcome to the future. DMAP's Digicon Revolution 2024, where AI, e-commerce, data analytics, and groundbreaking tech ignite. Hear from visionaries, innovators, revolutionaries. Hands-on masterclasses to turn you into a leader, an innovator. Don't just adapt. Drive the change. In a world racing forward, be the force that leads. DMAP's Digicon Revolution 2024. Your digital future starts now. Join the revolution. Register today at digicon.com.ph.
And I got ready for rejection, actually.
Oh, how did you prepare for that?
I just do it.
Okay.
You just do it without thinking.
Okay.
And I think you really just need to be humble enough and say, well, if they didn't like it, it's not about you not being good. It's about them not needing this. They have no space for this, but it will have in another publisher perhaps. So it was really, you do it from the heart nga. It's really and accepted or not, it was a good exercise. Isipin mo rin yun. Yung if you're going to query or pitch to publishers or agents, at one point you'll be good at it.
Oh, gagaling ka rin.
Gagaling ka na, and at one point I'm sure you'll be accepted.
Hi, this is Mirza Sison. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go! So we're back because we were having such a great conversation that there wasn't enough time to talk about getting your book published. In the previous episode, we talked about how to get your book written, and now comes the publishing part. So, after you've written the book, it has to get published. What's the first step you should take?
I think you should, first, my advice really is to work on your synopsis.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you've written this, 60,000 word novel. You must have a very workable synopsis with a beginning, middle, and end. And that is one of the first things a publisher would look for, right? And that's one. Another thing that's very important is you need to have some sort of proposal. And this can be in many forms. I mean, each publisher would probably require you to do different things. But in my experience, a proposal means that you have to know why your book matters, and that means finding who's the market for it, and that means writing it down, actually listing down at least 3 things on why your book will be picked up by readers. So, well, you've written it, and now's the time for you to think about it. Exactly why do readers, when they go into a bookstore, why would they pick that up? What need would they fill when they see your book? Third thing is, you need to find similar titles. I mean, for readers or for a publisher to have an idea about what your book is about, you have to think of at least 3 titles, 3 similar books that are like yours. And so immediately, if you say, oh, my book is like the Shopaholics here. So immediately, my book is like Crazy Rich Asians. I mean, that's been done, but immediately, right, it gives you this idea that, oh, okay, it will be this and this. So that's important. And it's even better when you think of these things even before writing your book.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you start with that?
Yeah, even before writing your book. But sometimes, I don't know, we're so in the moment, we just write our fiction, our scenes, our chapters, and then in the middle of it, we do these lists.
So do you think being market driven that way can also debilitate you from writing the way you want to? Like, will you always be second guessing yourself and say, baka walang market, di ba? Or baka itong gusto nila pero hindi yun ang gusto ko. What's your advice for that?
Yeah, that's a real problem, and it really happens. And I have also been the victim of that kind of feeling. But I think it's always important to think creatively at first and not think about publishing. If you write from the heart, if you write with truth in it, like you write there's something in there that's true for you, it's going to come out in your novel. And the more you'll know your novel and be able to figure out the market for that. So I think start with that.
In the first place, where do you find publishers?
Yeah, as I said, being an author or being an aspiring author, hindi po pwedeng nasa bahay lang tayo.
Oo,
Nagsusulat
sa buong buhay naman natin.
or natutulog. Which is,
Lumabas ng bahay at pumunta sa bookstore.
yeah, you have to make an effort to connect with other authors. It could be an author, a local author that you love, or other author friends, or friends who love books. And you have to look for events.
Ask around.
You have to look for events, for happenings or gatherings, and just to see. I mean, in the end, if you're going to be an author, dito ka rin naman babagsak eh. So pumunta ka na. And you will find, and the more you talk about your book,
Right.
have a one or two liner ready when people ask you, "Oh, you're writing? What are you writing? What are you writing about?" And you say this, and the more you say it, the more the universe will hear you, and the more publishers really will
Right.
hear about you. And I don't have an agent at the moment, but you can also look for an agent. And now it's not as hard as other people as before, because we're also connected globally.
Right.
You can check out these agents online, whereas before I don't know how they did it, but now you can really try to narrow down your list and look for the agent that's right for your book.
So is an agent necessary to get published? In the Philippines, no, right?
Yeah, in Singapore, no,
No, okay.
Yeah, so
Would
you
you say
can-
in Asia, not yet?
not yet, not
but
yet.
in the West,
I think in the West, you cannot even no publisher, no big publisher will entertain you unless it's you're agented.
right.
So that's another option.
Right,
That's just another option. You can start with no agent and
Right.
approach publishers yourself. You can self-publish your book even, which is
Right.
very, very which is a thriving industry right
Yes.
now, and it's acceptable. It's
Not
great.
looked down upon as
Not
like a
at
vanity
all.
project.
Not at all. And there are so many self-published writers who are doing so well.
I think in the fields of self-help and personal growth, maraming self-published.
Yeah. That's great, right?
Right. How about do you just Google publishers in my country and then send them the manuscript or ano ba yung steps dyan?
Actually,
Cold call, papansinin ba siya?
you do have to Google. You do have to find out the list of publishers in your country, and then each one you have to study them. And that's good work. It's good. It's good for you because you know what kind of books they put out. You would know where, and you would see if you're a fit there or not.
Right.
So you choose where you would want to send it.
So what are the obstacles that most first-time writers encounter when they're trying to get their book published? Maybe you can look back on your life and see. How many publishers have you worked with? So there's Summit
There's
Books.
Summit. There's Marshall Cavendish in
in
Singapore.
Singapore.
And now there's Penguin Random House, Southeast
Right,
Asia.
right.
So 3 publishers. And I have also self-published
Oh.
my own book.
Oh, which one?
This is Miss Makeover.
This is
Yeah,
self-published?
yeah, it's great, right?
Wow!
So
It looks like a real book.
yeah, real book.
Okay. Why did you decide to self-publish this?
Well, that came out in I think 2018, and at that time, uh, I don't think the rom com books were thriving, and maybe I was just too lazy to find a publisher, and I was really excited about trying to publish, having full control. I
Yes.
think that was what
Ganda ng
attracted
cover.
me.
Parang mga damit mo lang.
Yes, that's by Kelly Dern.
Okay.
The cover, and I found her online.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it was what attracted me to, what if I do this and I have full control? I can have the cover I want. I can have the layout I want. So
Right.
it's also worthy to try out self-publishing.
What did you learn from this experience?
Well, that you have to do
Everything.
everything and that you have to prioritize distribution.
Oh,
Yeah.
that seems so hard.
Yeah. So I think that is what's needed for self-publishers, for self-published authors. They have to think of how they can distribute their books first and then take it from there. Because if not, it's just going to languish in your stash.
Or you'll have Christmas gifts until you die. So how has becoming a published author changed your life, and how will it change the lives of others? I spoke earlier in the introduction about leaving a legacy and opening doors to new opportunities.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, I've been writing for 20 years. So it's very affirming to be published, but also it's really fulfilling because I was a reader, and books really have changed my life as a young person. And I wanted to write books to do the same for other people. So I feel affirmed, and also I feel it's healing as well.
Right.
And to be able to express myself, turn my pain into something beautiful, hopefully. And the last but also important thing, it's very empowering. It's very empowering to be published, to write, even the act of writing. And I think being published is a bonus.
Do you have stories of maybe from your own personal experience or from your fellow authors that can encourage the aspiring authors to really try to get that book published?
So in Singapore, I have one of my advocacies is migrant writers.
Okay.
So I volunteer every Sunday with this group, migrant writers of Singapore, and I'm friends with them, and we do all sorts of things outside this group. And one of my good friends, Jenny Leble, she has published a poetry book, and it also contains essays and photographs. And her free time actually is a Sunday. But she also organizes events, workshops, along with other migrant writers. And she has won contests. And I think that's very inspiring, that she managed to fulfill her dream. It's been her dream to be published. Her book now is in MIBF as well.
Okay.
So, and that is a lesson.
A Singaporean publisher published.
A Philippine
Philippine,
publisher.
okay.
And that is I think that's an inspiring story for us. And it's funny because her free time is really Sunday. When I text her during weekdays, she'll say, I'm busy washing the dishes or cleaning.
Okay.
Na ganun siya. But still,
Pero nagawa niya.
nagawa niya. So
Okay.
if she managed to do that, we can.
Right.
Definitely we can. And it has given her such confidence and motivation actually to do other things in her life.
Oh, so the confidence that came from being a published author prompted her to be bold and do other things.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just one of the stories.
Right. So part of trying to get your book published, a big part of it is rejection.
Yeah.
I think most people don't want to write na lang a book kasi ayaw nilang ma-reject. So what is your advice for dealing with rejection? And how much rejection will one face? I know a famous author who has been trying for 7 years to get an agent, and she has thousands of rejection letters. Wow. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it really takes courage to rise up again after each rejection, and it's painful to be rejected, but it's really part of being a writer and an author. Definitely, you'll get a ton of rejections. Swerte mo pag konti, no? And one writer that I spoke to, she's Malaysian. She told me that every time she submits something, she gets ready for it to be rejected.
Oh.
So parang you write to be rejected.
Aray! Sakit naman.
And I think it's humbling. So you have to develop that humility that your work will be rejected. And on the other side, you have to think of it this way as well. That this is a chance for you to improve your work.
Ayun.
And it definitely needs improvement. I mean, isa pa yan na ang daming writers dyan. Akala na first draft, okay na.
Hindi ba? Ilan ba?
I think
Anong track record?
Ako nga, pero definitely hindi yung first draft or even the second draft. It can be...
How many drafts yung most mo?
Mine, 5.
Okay,
5 drafts.
5. Okay.
5 drafts. So, and after that, I was confident. I mean, hindi na ako nag-cringe. Nung binasa ko yung story, I think you need to get that feeling na when you're reading your own work, you really want to read it. Ayaw mo nang to hide in a corner and cry. So, we need to be edited as well. So, be open to editing. And if you work with a publisher, if you start working with a publisher, you'll be working with editors who will really edit it in surprising ways. Diba?
And you can't be territorial about.
You can
don't touch this part.
You can be. It really depends on you. But there will be a push and pull. There will be resistance. So be ready for that. And it's a form of rejection as well.
Yes.
They reject your words.
Publishing na pero babaguhin.
So, grabe, it really takes a lot of courage, actually, and humility.
What do you tell yourself? I mean, if the Malaysian lady parang iniisip na niya na ma-reject, what's a more positive thing to tell yourself before you get rejected?
Well, I think it's really, for example, you wrote a book or a story, it's really like finding the right home for it. Home is your
Finding
publisher.
the right home. That's a good way.
It's your publisher. Home is your publisher. Home is a magazine or an online journal. So if this piece of work gets rejected by a publisher or a journal, then that's not the right home for it. And there is a right place for it. So it's always, I think it's that. It has room somewhere in this world. It's not just this time.
Right. Could be timing.
Could be timing. Could be the whole vibe of everything or what's happening.
The zeitgeist of the times also. Right.
Yeah. So many factors actually. Right. It's not just you.
So, what are publishers looking for? Like when you analyze the bestseller lists, for example, of that you've been on, do you notice any trends about what sells, what doesn't sell?
I think now books more than ever are written to help people, for readers to help readers. And now I notice a lot of books about, they are fiction books, but they're about healing.
Oh.
Right? They're about starting over even.
Right.
A lot of the Korean and Japanese books, they make it to the bestseller lists right now, and they're about someone who was burnt out. And it's not a new story.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
someone who was burnt out and decided to work in a bookstore.
Oh, okay.
Someone who was burnt out, someone who was could be magazine editors, whoever. It's like it's what Marian Keyes also wrote before, but now it's rehashed. Not rehashed, but it's presented in a way that's more current to our times, actually, which is also refreshing. But a lot of that, because a lot of people now are looking for that, for healing, for self care, for a better way of doing things, for taking care of our environment, things like that. So I think those are the trends.
Things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, how to improve the
Uh-huh.
world in your own way, starting
Right.
with yourself.
So for your three books, Hue City, Sudden Superstar, and Miss Makeover, what how do they help the readers? What questions do they answer, and what issues do they address that you feel resonates with your loyal community?
Yeah, that one for Miss Makeover, for example, it's about a beauty editor who cannot go out without her
Oh
makeup.
my gosh, parang familiar yung character na yun.
Ako din
Nabasa
yun.
na ba niya?
Ako din yun.
Ikaw din
Ako
yun.
din
Okay,
yun.
okay.
It's very much me.
Okay.
And there was a time talagang I can't. Baka even now.
Oo.
Pero, so it's about really being comfortable in your own skin. So I want to share that with readers that it's really okay to
Yeah.
not look perfect.
Yes.
And for Sudden Superstar, it's about social media, and I was fascinated kasi by influencers
Yes.
who have like 300 million followers, 20 million followers, and I wondered how it would feel like to wake up and have all those 3 million eyes looking at you, but then you're not okay.
Yes.
Diba? So, and that was what I wanted to share with readers, how to deal with not being okay, actually. And for Hue City, wow, there are a lot of lessons there, and because the themes there are not only that we have family issues there, distant mothers, we have OFW life, we have broken friendships and betrayals and lies and people using people. Basically, it's good people doing bad things. So, but these people, they're from different
Walks of life.
walks of life, but they all want one thing, and that is to start over, to have something new, to reinvent themselves, and it can be done. And I think what I wanted to share with readers is that actually that's your power. You can start over whoever you are and however which way you want, in the smallest thing or in the biggest change in your life.
Wow. Is that how you pitch those books? I was going to ask, how did you pitch these two books to the publishers? Tell us about that so that listeners can get a clue about how they would pitch it.
Well, honestly, I think I was just being myself, and I just talked about my books. Whenever I just talk about I'm writing this book.
To anyone who cares to listen?
Yeah, or anyone who asks. I mean, because I'm a writer, maybe that's a conversation starter. People will ask, "Oh, what are you writing about?"
Okay.
or what are your books? And then I start talking. And because I want these stories to be out in the world, because I want these manuscripts published, I really talk about them without even trying, actually. It's just me to talk about it. And I met my publisher at an event.
Which is Penguin Random
Yes.
House, Southeast Asia.
Yes, I met her at an event, and actually we were just talking about makeup,
Okay.
and and motherhood. So I think it's really about connection. We don't have to be this super driven, determined, di mo na makilalang tao, trying to find people. But I think a lot of the success that has happened here is because of my desire to connect with people. I really I'm curious about people, and so I ask about them. And that brings you to the right place at the right time. So just be out there and talk about your book, talk about yourself, talk about the stories that you want to write, and connect with people. Ask people about them, who they are, what they want. Maybe they want something from you. Maybe they want a book from you. And that's what happened. I was talking about the things I love, which was makeup and motherhood, and somehow the subject of the book that I was writing came up, and
Did you bring it up? For
For
those na mahihiya na, hey, publisher, by the way, may book ako.
I think I did. And it's all right.
Right.
It
It's
really
all
is all right to. Let's not. There's nothing wrong about it at all, and it's facts.
Yes.
So,
It's a fact.
Oo.
I am writing a book and you are a publisher.
it's also a fact that you want to write this book. Wala ka pang
Wag
book,
nang mahiya.
diba? Huwag nang mahiya. Go lang. Kung gusto mo talaga, lalabas yan eh.
Oo.
Yun.
Okay.
Ako kasi, gusto ko rin naman talaga. Gusto ko
Oo.
talaga na ma-publish, or kahit yung storya ko lang talaga
Right.
masabi ko lang to the world, 'di ba? So lalabas din siya, and things happened from there. I got an offer about the book, and I was asked these things like synopsis,
Right.
all the necessary things, and all the lists that I had to do, the comparable titles, all the.
You didn't have to make a presentation.
No.
we're not.
It's all written. O, diba? Pwede naman eh. You just need to get your act together. You just need to know your book, actually.
Yes.
You need to know your story and why you want to write. And honestly, don't write talaga to be published. Yun.
Instead,
Write because you want to share this story. You want to tell this story, this compelling, para sa'yo, compelling story. And if it's compelling to you, it will be compelling to and if it helps you when you read it. Ako, kakatawa, I still read my book. Oo, if it's helpful to you, it will be helpful
kailangan
to
natutuwa ka
others.
sa sarili mong gawa.
Oo, walang masama doon. Walang masama doon na natutuwa ka sa sarili. Makakatulong pa yan sa'yo.
Gosh, your enthusiasm is so infectious. I forgot the next question. So when it came to talk about Hue City, and it's not of the same mold, diba? It's not rom-comish, or there's no girl on the cover. How did you pitch it naman? To the same publisher?
Yeah, I just pitched it as it is.
Okay.
Because I was confident with the story, and honestly, I believe rom-coms are quite big right now, but it's me. It's me. I really am more of a literary fiction writer because I have also read and I was so inspired by other fiction novels. I just pitched it as it is, and I got ready for rejection, actually.
Oh, how did you prepare for that?
I just do it.
Okay.
You just do it without thinking.
Okay.
And I think you really just need to be humble enough and say, well, if they didn't like it, it's not about you not being good. It's about them not needing this. They have no space for this, but it will have in another publisher perhaps. So it was really, you do it from the heart nga eh. It's really and accepted or not, it was a good exercise. Isipin mo
Right.
rin yun. Yung if you're going to query or pitch to publishers or agents, at one point you'll be good at it.
Oh, gagaling ka rin.
Gagaling ka na, and at one point I'm sure you'll be accepted.
Wow.
But I always think of it as an experience. So that's what you gain from it. If you get rejected or you lost this race,
you gained
you gain this
experience.
practice,
Okay.
which will help you in the next one.
Right. Would you say in the end, mapapublish din yan. Kaka-try mo.
Yeah, of course. I think everyone has that at the back of their mind, no?
Someday, mapapublish din ito.
Oo, mapapublish din to, whether it's a big publisher or an indie publisher or a medium size
Or yourself.
or yourself, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, even to publish it yourself. So I really, and you have to believe in your story.
Right.
And for me, I really did. So work on it before you think of publishing nga eh. Sulatin mo muna ng maganda.
Step 1.
Ulitin mo mag 5 drafts ka.
Tama. Right.
But others are so good. No, it's just me na 5 drafts. Others are so good. So baka 2 drafts lang. But the more you write, the better you become, really.
Yeah. Okay. I shall apply all of that into the book that I have yet to finish.
We're so excited for that. We're super, super excited for that.
Right. I'm excited to finish it finally. Thank you so much, Claire.
Wow, thank you, Mirza.
Parang kailangan pa ng part 3.
Wow! I would love that. Ang saya. Thank you.
I'll see you again when you return to Manila.
Yeah, see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit mirza.com. That's MYRZA.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.